Welcome to Mental Health Dumpster Fire, a podcast where therapists give their real opinions on mental health, relationships, parenting, and pop culture. Hosted by Courtney Laver, licensed clinical social worker, and Jess Miller, art therapist. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and cannot be used as a substitute for therapy. We cannot provide mental health services via this podcast or social media. We occasionally use explicit language in our podcast and discuss serious mental health and relationship issues. Please use discretion if you are listening with children. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Mental Health Dumpster Fire. Follow Courtney on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Laver Listens, and Jess on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at The Artsy Brain. We hope you enjoy the show. Don't forget to subscribe. Welcome to our show.
Hello.
It's time to talk about mental health.
Woo!
How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little stressed out. This time of year is busy. But I have purposefully been taking on less, scheduling less clients the next several weeks through the holidays. So, and then I took a big break for the holidays.
Yay. Good.
So I'll be fine once I get there. But yeah, other than that, pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I started my new job last week, and I think I'm going to like it. My room is all set up now.
Nice.
So I'm excited, and this is my last Witch's Brew Alani of the year, which is sad.
That's sad. Those are good.
This is my favorite one, but fall had to end sometime, and here it is.
Yeah. Everyone's all about Christmas right now.
Yep. Heard. Well, yeah, that's pretty much all I got going on. Almost the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of ramping up to the end of the year stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it'll be interesting to go into January. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have a nice big break before January starts.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. I basically just scheduled, as soon as I got assigned this school that I work at, I just went ahead and scheduled myself off the same time as the school.
Yeah.
And it lines up because most of my clients are kids that go to schools anyway, and they don't want to see me when they're on Christmas break and stuff like that. So it worked out really well.
Yeah, because a lot of them might be going out of town anyway, so then it's not going to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything.
Right. A lot of them are out of town for Thanksgiving and the whole week of Thanksgiving. I think I only have 2 people I'm seeing that week. So I was like, yeah, I'll be off too. It'll work out.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
I'm looking forward to that.
Well, do you have something that you're wanting to talk about today?
I got on Reddit, our favorite place for content, and I went to this Reddit r/ask a therapist, and I just went through and picked a bunch of stuff that I was like, ooh, this is interesting.
I have not heard of that one.
I didn't either. I just typed it into the little Reddit search bar, just ask a therapist to see if there was someone that posted that as a title, but it's a whole thread on there.
Yeah.
Massive amounts of people are on there. So
cool. I'm going
to
follow that one real quick before I forget.
Yeah. Some of it is asking for direct therapeutic advice, which is I stayed away from those, and I just focused more on questions about therapy, questions about some of them are about becoming a therapist advice, and some of them are just general my therapist said this and I feel this way about it, so now what do I do?
Yeah.
That's most of the questions I pulled.
Okay, yeah. That's good. Because I know, when we were starting this podcast, we were talking about, well, if anybody ever asks us for, in our disclaimer, it says, we cannot give you therapy or, specific advice. So
right.
It gets really tricky if therapists are presenting themselves online to strangers. What do you do if somebody, really has a crisis?
Right, yeah. And I did see, some of the questions were I'm having thoughts of SI. What do I do? And the first therapist was get a therapist, call a therapist, or call somebody. Here's some contact information.
Right.
And I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. One is just a real simple question. How do I respond to you statements? For example, if someone tells me you don't do this or you do that, it leaves me at a loss for how to react and respond because I feel accused and under attack. What do I do? And then some mental health experts and some that are not commented on it.
Wait, can we say our responses first?
Sure, yes.
And then see if
and then
we
see what
match.
So how do I respond to you statements? Such as, you don't do this or you do that.
You respond with a reflection and then an I statement. So you reflect back to them. You are feeling frustrated because I did this. And you want me to do whatever.
Right.
And then you follow it up with, okay, I'm feeling frustrated because I feel like I'm not the only one doing this problem or something like that. Can we figure this out together without blaming?
Yes. I think it, like, basically taking that you statement that feels like an accusation and then reflecting it and turning into I feel statements.
Yeah.
That process, yeah.
Yeah. And also empathizing that, like, I get it. You're feeling some type of way. That's you, though.
Yeah. like, you're feeling frustrated because I didn't put the dishes in the dishwasher. But I'm also, like, feeling frustrated because I'm too, like, tired or worn out or whatever, overstimulated to do the dishes right now. Can we just do it later?
Yeah. And then once the tension has subsided from that conversation, then you can have a separate conversation about, like, hey, when you have an issue, can we use an I statement?
Right.
Instead of a you statement.
Yeah. Yeah, in the moment when the person is, like, whoever it is upset and saying, like, you didn't do this or you do that, then that's not the time to be like, let's practice an I statement.
Yeah.
You just do it, and then later you talk about, okay, next time this is how we're going to talk about this problem. So someone, I'm assuming they're a therapist, but they don't disclose that they are. They said this is the basis of why nonviolent communication is so effective. When we're accused with generalities in a way we can't identify, we feel attacked and respond with defensiveness. And then they basically say the same thing we did of, like, empathizing and then reflecting and I feel rather than you don't do this.
Yeah.
Some people that aren't therapists commented, I'm feeling defensive. Is there any way you could rephrase that? Works better in relationships where the other person actually knows and cares about you. Yeah, solid point. And then they talk about, like, reflecting on maybe why you're feeling defensive right off the bat. I mean, I don't know. If someone was like, hey, you don't do the laundry and you need to do the laundry, I would probably be like, immediate defense.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do the laundry because I was tired. Leave me alone.
Right. Yeah. And then, again, like, when the situation is less tense, being like, you know what, I would respond a lot better if you came to me with, like, curiosity about, like, hey, when were you gonna get the laundry done?
Right. Yeah. I definitely respond better to that. Let's see. Someone else that's not a therapist. They say the other thing that helps me is self-empathy and self-validation. That can sound like, I know that he loves me. He's just having a hard time. Like, he's not mad at me. He's just struggling with work or whatever. His feelings are not my fault. His triggers come from work, being tired, blah, blah, blah. I care about him and his feelings and will hear him out, remembering that I can be accountable for my own actions and words.
Yeah.
Good reminders. And then someone briefly mentions the freeze, fawn, fight, flight thing. Which, like, I can see that playing part in this for sure. But I think it's mostly just, I think most people would react to a you statement defensively.
Yeah.
It's kind of like most people's reaction. But if you do have, like, a tendency towards fight, flight, fawn, or freeze, then that might be something to reflect on and think about when you want to talk to your partner or whoever it is.
Yeah, if being accused of things you didn't do or being yelled at is a trauma that you have experienced, then your body is going to react like it's a legitimate danger. So knowing that about yourself is good. And then, yeah, depending on your relationship with the person, letting them know, like, I'm not going to respond well if you come at me like that.
Yeah. My response is to fight if you talk to me like that.
Yeah.
And I am really sorry. I'm working on that. But, like, we can also do this differently so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. 100%. This person posted today, and there's no comments on it, but I thought this was interesting. How do I accept that it is okay to cry in front of my partner? I, 29 female, have a dad who can be very uncaring at times. When I was little, he made me feel pathetic and ashamed for crying, saying things like, I don't care if you're crying, and no one likes a crybaby. Sometimes he would threaten me to get me to stop crying.
I'll give you something to cry about.
Right. That kind of, yeah. Now, whenever I do cry, I feel so embarrassed. I'm scared to let anyone ever see me cry. I don't care who it is. But I want to be emotionally vulnerable when I date somebody. I don't want to keep my feelings bottled up. I just want to open up to someone like my dad. Oh, I just don't want to open up to someone like my dad. I was like, wait a second.
Okay. I was like,
don't date someone like your dad.
Be a good idea. Yeah.
Don't do that, please. How do I become comfortable enough to cry in front of my romantic partner? And then they clarify and say, by the way, I'm currently single. I'm just anticipating that this will be an issue later on.
Yeah.
So wanting to be emotionally vulnerable with a romantic partner, your instinct is to, I don't want to cry in front of anybody.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of asking, like, how do I know who I can trust to react appropriately to vulnerability?
I think that's really it. Is like, how do I know this is a person I can be vulnerable with, first of all? Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm. I also don't like to cry in front of people. Mm-hmm. My dad didn't tell me, like, I'll give you something to cry about if I cried. I think I just, I don't know. I don't like crying and being upset around people in general. I think most people are like that.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. You gotta look for those green flags in people.
Yeah, I think if you create an environment where other people can be comfortable being vulnerable with you, then you can see if they're willing to be vulnerable, then they're likely okay with other people being vulnerable with them.
Right. Kind of like setting the precedent of, like, this is what it's going to be like.
Let them know that it's okay to be vulnerable with you. Mm-hmm. And then base your decision on how they respond to being vulnerable.
Right. Because if they are like, oh, I'm not going to be emotionally vulnerable, I'm not going to cry around you either, then it's like, well, then you're not going to be comfortable doing that with them. So, red flag, bink.
Right. And if you don't want to end up with someone like your dad, you probably want somebody who is open to being vulnerable.
Right. You want someone who, like, can cry in front of you and you can cry in front of them. And it's not like a shame cycle.
Yeah.
This one is more about therapists and therapy. Do talk therapists believe that thoughts create emotions, and what do they think about CBT? I read that cognitive behavioral therapists believe that thoughts create emotions and you can change emotions by altering your thoughts. Is this what science says, or do talk therapists believe in something else? If you are a talk therapist, what is your opinion on CBT? I have opinions about CBT.
Yeah, I know you have opinions. What are they?
My opinion, so CBT to me is kind of like gaslighting yourself into thinking more positive things about yourself.
Sometimes.
My issue with CBT is that I feel like it's not enough for treating trauma or for treating certain diagnoses. I think most CBT therapists would agree with me. But for things of just negative self-talk, anxiety, it can help with OCD. It helps with, like, suicidal ideation. CBT helps and works.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's terrible and don't use it. I'm just saying that, like, it has its limits, just like any modality of therapy does.
Yeah.
But the whole, like, your thoughts influence your emotions, which influence your behaviors, that triangle of CBT. I see it and I understand it, but at the same time, when I try to apply it to myself, I feel like there's a step in there that's not happening, or there's a step in there that needs to be added. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's like a piece there that's missing. And I feel like it's kind of that, like that flight, fight, fawn, freeze type thing, like keeping that stuff in mind while looking at that triangle of emotions, behaviors, and thoughts.
Sure. Yeah. I do elements of CBT.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be really effective for self-esteem.
Yes. Yeah.
And for some anxiety.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of like self-talk.
Right.
And it's a lot of like, well, let me actually look at it. Like, look at the situation objectively. Is this actually like cognitive distortions, like black and white thinking, or thinking you can read people's minds, or jumping to conclusions, things like that? Those are all what we call cognitive distortions, and they're just like your brain's messing up and assuming things that are probably not true.
Mm-hmm.
Or
they're not likely.
Or you can't tell if they're true because you don't know all the information.
Yeah.
You don't know if the person who just glanced at you and then looked away thinks you're disgusting. Right. They might have just been looking in your direction. Yeah. So CBT is a good way to like break it down and be like, what are the other possible things that could be going on here? Do I have all the evidence for this? But it can take some work and some time to like learn how to do those things. And if fundamentally you just believe you are a piece of shit, then CBT is not going to work because you can't gaslight yourself into doing it. CBT is like you're supposed to reason your way into feeling better.
Yeah.
If you don't actually believe that you are worth that, then CBT is not going to do anything for you.
Maybe that's why I feel like it's gaslighting yourself into feeling better, is if you think that you yourself like, and you think and believe that you're a piece of shit, then it's not going to work. You have to at least a little bit feel good about yourself or believe there's something good in yourself. Yeah,
because you can look at positive affirmation cards all day long, but if you don't agree with them, then they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, that's why I, especially with teenagers that have like self-esteem or like social anxiety issues, instead of positive affirmations, I call them neutral affirmations.
I like that.
So we like, and I usually start with, I was like, so this happened at school and you got anxious and you had a panic attack or you had to leave the room, whatever. What was the negative thought you were having about yourself? Okay, now we're going to turn that and we're not going to make it positive because that's going to sound fake and you're not going to believe it and it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. We need to find something neutral that you do believe and start from there. And so it'll be something like maybe the negative thought is, I'm ugly and that's why no one wants to be my friend or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, then we turn it into a neutral statement of like, I look normal. It's usually has the word normal in it. I look normal. I feel normal. I am normal. Yeah. And that's okay. And I will keep working on it. Yeah. Something like that. So that is kind of like a CBT thing as well. So it's not that I don't use CBT at all. I just have opinions about it. About when to use it, I guess.
Right. It's appropriate for certain things. I have found that it works really well with kids and teenagers with anxiety and self-esteem issues.
Yes.
But if you have trauma, you need some additional things. And it doesn't have to, CBT never has to be the only thing that you do.
Right. And I think part of the reasons I have such strong opinions, my very first therapist I went to used CBT with me, and that's the only thing she really used. Mm-hmm. And I was going to see her because I was anxious. I had anxiety, but my anxiety was rooted in trauma. Yeah. And so, but I wasn't making that connection yet.
Right. And if you can't communicate that, then she doesn't know either.
Right. So she's like, we're going to keep working on positive affirmations and changing negative self-talk. And I'm like, I don't want to. Yeah. Don't want to. But I just hadn't made that click connection of where that anxiety was actually coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, she didn't know either. So she was just doing, anxiety, CBT.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they teach.
Right.
So she was just trying to do her job, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just was like, my last session, I was like, this isn't going to work. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's not working. I am feeling worse. I'm not getting better.
I think a lot of CBT therapists, too, forget about the behavior part of the triangle.
Yeah.
And they focus on changing your thoughts and just, like, self-talk and trying to reason your way out of it. But then there's also that behavior piece where you can also focus on that part and be like,
yes.
if I know that I always react this way when I feel attacked, that's not a feeling, but whatever, then what if I just did, and that's DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, what if I did the opposite and then saw how that made me feel?
Yes.
So I think sometimes CBT therapists forget that it's a behavioral therapy. You're supposed to be changing what you're doing,
right,
in addition to your thought patterns.
Yeah, I think a lot of times CBT, like therapists that use CBT start with the thought process, because that's kind of where you might see the most change happen. But like, it's a triangle. There's your thoughts and your emotions and your behaviors, and they do this in a circle over and over and over again. Yeah. So like, if you do all the self-talk work and it's not working, then you need to pick something else to work on. Right. And it's hard to work on emotions without the other two. Yeah. So they're all connected, people.
Yeah. So my kids with self-esteem issues, we use the triangle and we figure out, like, okay, when you're thinking that everybody hates you, your behavior is that you isolate yourself because you don't want to embarrass yourself further. If you did the opposite and you talked more and you asked people how they were feeling, you would probably learn some new information that would help to change your thoughts. Right. So now we're doing some behavior modification. Yes. Because if you actually ask people what's going on, you'll probably find out that what you thought was worst case scenario, and it's not what actually is going on. Yeah. And then that'll change your thoughts, which will change your emotions about the situation that you're in. And it just keeps cycling and building from there. Yeah. As with most therapists, I feel like there's hardly a single therapist who only uses one modality. Yeah. Period, for everyone. I feel like everyone uses some combination of at least two things. And CBT and DBT together, especially with treating teenagers, I feel like is the best combination. Yeah. Well, and they were asking too, like, does science back this up? Yes. It's an evidence-based. Yes, it is evidence-based therapy, but there are lots of different kinds of evidence-based therapy. So science says that it's effective, and it also says all these other ones are effective. Right. It's not that CBT isn't effective. It's like, it's effective for specific situations, or like, it depends situations. That's one of the things I say. It depends so much in sessions. Yeah. That kids are like, can you not say that anymore? I mean, and I'm like, but it does. Like, but it's like any kind of treatment. If you have a heart condition, there's 20 different medications that you could try, and they're all backed by research, but they don't work for everybody. Yeah. So you have to figure out which one is best for your condition. Right. You just got to try out different things and be willing to try different things. That's a huge part. Like, if you're dead set on doing EMDR, but then learn that maybe DBT is going to be more helpful, like, you have to be willing to do that and to, like, kind of adapt with your therapist as well. But yeah, some therapists talked about the triangle: thoughts, behaviors, emotions, and how you have to work on kind of all three to really see any big changes. Someone talking about being a trauma therapist, CBT is a place to start, but we tend to move to other modalities. Stuff like that. Someone wrote a big old long thing that's like straight out of a textbook, it looks like. They copied the Wikipedia page. Almost, yeah.
Or they're quoting one of the people that came up with CBT, it looks like. From a book, maybe. Yeah. A lot of talk about the triangle. CBT triangle. I'm not gonna do that one. This one, the person is looking for advice, which is a little tricky. But we'll see. We'll see what comes out of this. How can I stop annoying my mom? She calls me annoying behind my back, and I don't want to feel like a burden. Every time I ask for literally anything, whether it be a new shirt or some sort of product or a food that I like, I feel an air of annoyance and hatred towards me. I have a tendency to be a little bit over the top at times, but I never beg for anything or actively try to annoy her. I don't want her to hate me, even though I try to be a good son. I feel like even if I try to lighten the mood with a joke, she still just doesn't care, and I feel like she just wants me out of her life, and I don't really have a clue as to why. My dad has pretty well provided everything for us, so it's not that we can't afford things I ask for. They're generally fairly cheap and infrequent anyways. I just want to figure out how to not annoy her. So they're looking for advice.
Poor baby.
Which we don't do. But person commented and said that it's hard to tell whether someone is being annoying or if the other person is just being disproportionately annoyed. I highly recommend talking to your mom. Non-accusatory, like, hey, it seems like I annoy you when I ask for things. I don't want to be a burden. Is there a better time or way to ask? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Without, like, giving advice on this, I, again, feel like it's one of those almost like the you statement thing of just using that for reflective communication could be really helpful here.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't ask us specifically for advice. So I feel like
they asked Reddit.
Yeah. So we're just people on the internet. But yeah, I think it probably needs some therapy, like individual for that child, but also family therapy for communication improvement. But yeah, I feel like I would tell them to say, like, when you notice her appearing annoyed, saying, what are you feeling about what I just said?
Right. Because
I don't want you to feel annoyed. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think an important thing in that conversation would be for the son to say, hey, I feel like you're annoyed. I feel like you're annoyed, or you seem to be annoyed when I do this, and I'm feeling like a burden.
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about this and, like, what's actually going on?
Yeah. And I'm scared to ask you for things.
Yeah. I don't want to ask for things because this is the reaction I get every time. Mm-hmm. And just like having a conversation with their mom. I think having a therapist.
Because I wonder
would be
if she's even aware of it.
She might not be.
She might just be, like, stressed about her own stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And it's being projected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, she won't. I mean, and if she is annoyed, then, like, talk about it, because
it's like,
that's not fair to do to your kid.
Right. And it's kind of reminds me of when parents just tell their kids no without an explanation. That, like, builds up over time, and then that's why kids will, like, sneak off and do what they want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's kind of has, like, that vibe to me of, like, you're not having a conversation with your kid about why you're saying no, or, like, why you're annoyed with them asking. Like, are you annoyed with them asking because maybe the kid has a job and makes their own money, and so mom thinks that they should just be buying these things for themselves? Like, where is this coming from? Or is she even annoyed?
Right.
Maybe she's just cranky all the time because her job sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the kid's not going to know that unless they talk about it, and the kid is going to continue to feel like a burden, and that's going to really impact their mental health.
Right. Yeah. I have definitely met parents who have the mentality of, like, I give you the basics, the bare minimum of what you need to survive, and so that I don't have to go to jail, and that's all you deserve. Mm-hmm. And then they get annoyed when their kids ask for a toy.
Right.
And it's that is a different beast. But,
yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not cool for your kid to feel like their mother thinks they're a burden.
Yeah. And they're like, and they were
I didn't ask to be here.
Yeah. I didn't ask to be born. Yeah. And they're feeling like that with that annoyance that their mom is like hating them too.
Yeah.
It's like, that's so hard.
I know.
To think that about like your relationship with your mom. So that's tough. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Parents, talk to your kids more.
Yeah.
Explain things to them more.
Because that's scary. I mean, like, yeah, the solution is you need to talk to your mom. But, like, that's terrifying. If you feel like your mom doesn't like you and that she thinks you're a burden, to go up to her and be like, hey, do you think I'm a burden?
Right.
Would be scary.
Do you hate me?
Yeah.
I'm your son asking you as my mother, do you hate me?
Mm-hmm. That's terrifying.
Yeah. He might not do it on his own.
That would, yeah.
He might need like someone to mediate that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, yeah.
But that's hard to do when you're a kid because it's not like you can be like, hey, Mom, I found a therapist.
Right. Yeah, Mom, I think we should go to therapy. I made this appointment.
Right.
Like, kids can't do that. So then it comes out in other ways, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, this person's asking for some advice on becoming a therapist. Ooh. Where do I start? Hello, I have my high school diploma and originally went to school for welding. Life has completely turned around, and now at 26, I'm wanting to become a mental health counselor or therapist. And I do not know where to start. I've done some research, and I know I need a master's level degree in psychology at the very least. What do I need to do before getting my master's degree? As I said earlier, all I have is my high school diploma. I never thought I'd go the academic route because I never did well in a school setting. I've seen some people mentioning that you need an undergraduate degree and some saying that you don't. I've seen some say that you need a bachelor's and some say you don't. I was never really taught about how college stuff works and don't have anyone in my life that I'd be able to ask about where to start. So, I mean, yeah, doing research is good, but it does get overwhelming if you don't know where to go from there. But I think the best thing to do if you're thinking of becoming a therapist of some kind is finding like maybe a professor that you can email or talk to, or maybe like trying to find if you're not already seeing a therapist, trying to find like a therapist and being like, hey, can you also talk to me about your career because I'm interested. But if you're already seeing a therapist, you could be like, hey, how did you become a therapist? Because I kind of want to do this now.
Yeah.
And get it directly from them. That would be my advice, if that is available.
Sure. I do believe if you want a master's degree, you have to have a bachelor's degree.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the applications for grad school are going to want that information from your undergrad. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to need frickin' recommendations, which is the worst.
Yeah, those were hard to get.
They are hard to get. I was lucky that I had enough.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so be involved.
Yes.
With your professors in undergrad.
Yes.
But I also feel like if academics is not your jam, because regardless of what kind of therapist you aspire to be, you're going to need the undergrad degree, you're going to need the graduate degree, and then you're going to need an exam. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot. So if that's not something, plus if you're in the US, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to do that route, you could look into being like, you probably would need a bachelor's degree to be like a case manager somewhere. Mm-hmm. But you could also be like a peer support specialist if you have the same experiences as whatever place you're going to work at. Like if you have been in recovery, you can be a peer support person for somebody else who's going through recovery. If you've been through a certain kind of loss, you could be a peer support person for that. Sometimes there's like even volunteer positions. So you could still have that element of like one-on-one helping somebody without being a formal therapist.
And that could be a good way to really get that experience and kind of build that up.
And see if you like
and
it.
See if you like it. And then if you do decide to pursue it, you have that experience already in your pocket of working with a community like that and a population. So you're kind of like ahead of the game a little bit when you go, if you do go to school.
Yeah.
Of having that life experience already. And then you can get your recommendations from whatever nonprofit you're at or
True.
stuff like that too
Yeah.
if you need it.
Yeah. Or you could be like a mentor or a big brother, big sister kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah. If you want to be an actual therapist, kudos. We need more.
Yep.
But if going to school for 6 years is not what you want to do, there are options. You just wouldn't be an official therapist with all of the rights.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you start at something maybe more volunteer, peer-based, mentorship-based, and then you really like that and you're like, okay, I think I want to go to school for this, then you go to school and get your bachelor's degree and that might be enough for you. But like just starting out with something like that and then just kind of like seeing how it goes and seeing where it takes you.
Yeah.
Because you might find that being a mentor or a peer person, working for a nonprofit or in the community might be enough for you and you feel like that's where you should be if you start there rather than jumping all the way into the deep end.
Agreed. This is not advice, but there are also freaking life coaches that have no credentials at all.
Right. Yeah, they are not they're not
just
regulated
good at
or licensed
themselves.
Yeah.
And they can say whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend that because they make me angry. But
yeah.
And I feel like they're just, if you have a license, you're regulated to make sure that you are being ethical and following certain guidelines. Life coaches don't need that, so they can say whatever they want, and they are not held responsible for anything.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like the only life coach person that I've encountered that I was like, okay, they were like a speech language pathologist or an OT maybe first, and then they became a life coach for adults on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I see where this progression has led you, and I'm still not a huge fan of the whole life coach.
Yeah.
Life.
I think in general, they have a bad reputation because of that. But I have heard of therapists who are therapists in one state and then they're life coaches in another state that they're not licensed in.
Oh, okay.
So they still have like their internal morals, but technically they're not doing therapy.
That's interesting.
Or like career coaches or people that focus on a certain thing. Or like a spiritual guide, like that's different. I feel like.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of life coaches out there who are just like, no, I'm basically a therapist. No, you're not.
Nope. If you don't have the school debt or the letters after your name, you're not.
Yeah.
You can't call yourself a therapist.
Yeah.
That's like when people are like, such and such activity is my therapy. I'm like, I know what you're saying, but can we use a different word? Can we describe it in a different way? Because it's not actually therapy. It's therapeutic.
It's therapeutic.
That's
cathartic.
Cathartic. That's a good one. That's like my whole spiel about art and art therapy. Of like, I'm an art therapist. I'm trained to use art as therapy. But there is also therapeutic art, which is different.
Yes.
That's doing art for catharsis.
Yeah.
Doing art to feel good. That's something you can do on your own. You don't need me.
You can scream into a pillow and let out all your feelings, and that's therapeutic.
Right. But it's not therapy.
It's not therapy.
And it seems like we're being really nitpicky about it, but there is a difference. there is a big difference, and that big difference is that we've gone through the training and the certifications, and we've got the licenses so that we can facilitate therapy.
Yeah.
But you can do things that feel therapeutic for you, that could be art or talking to a friend or whatever. But it's not therapy. It's just therapeutic.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but like working in child welfare, like ethics and boundaries and laws have been drilled into my head of like, you do not cross this line.
Yeah. I feel like, working in the school system definitely got that drilled into my head too.
Yeah.
Like, there it is. Which is, and then it's really clear to me, but sometimes to other people and even other therapists, it's not. And I'm always like, did you take ethics in school? Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Like, like even like when kids are saying like, oh, you could come to my soccer game. I'm like, I would love to come to your soccer game. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
But like, so like, I'm very like, nope, we exist in this room.
Yes, I am too. And like, if clients try to give me gifts, I always kind of be like, I had a client who was trying to give me cupcakes. And I was like, I love that you put in this effort and did something that you enjoy. How about we put the cupcakes out at the little kitchenette so that the whole office can enjoy them too?
Yeah, I think there's levels to that too. Like if a client makes me something, like
or like if the client makes a little something in session and then wants me to have it, I'll hang on to it.
But I had a client once who like bought me a purse.
No,
not an expensive one, but I was like, I'm not gonna take that.
no,
yeah,
I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, if a client makes me like a little origami thing and it's like, here, have this, or they did a little doodle, here, have this, I'll keep it. Usually what I do, if it's like a little doodle or something, I hang it up in my office. I'm like, hey, are you okay if other people see it? Can we hang it up on my wall? And I've got like a little wall that has their art. So
I know a lot of therapists who in the very first session with a client, they talk about like, hey, if we ever see each other like out in public, like I'm not gonna acknowledge you because that's awkward for you. Like if somebody's around and they're like, who's that? Then you have to be like, oh, that's my therapist, and now we're talking about how I'm in therapy.
Right.
But I also like have a big fear of like running into a client. I'm like, I don't want you to see me living my life. Like I want you to think I exist in this room only.
That's why I'm kind of grateful that the offices that I work at are like far from the community I live in, so I don't have to worry about it as much. But every now and then I'm like, this could be a place where I see my client or see my client's parents. I'm like, what? Hang on.
Like, what if I'm like a little drunk and like I see a client? Like, what do I do? Like,
what if I'm like at my bachelorette party and I see a client's mom and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
What if a client like sees me on a date or something? Like,
ooh,
I don't want to talk about that. Like,
most of my clients don't even know that I have a partner.
Right.
Like, I don't divulge.
I know, because like, but then what do I do? What if I'm out in public and like holding hands with somebody?
Yeah.
Nightmares. So I'm pretty sure it would be mutual. I feel like there's a mutual understanding that if you see your therapist, you're just not gonna acknowledge each other.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I'm like,
right.
So my head is on a swivel. Like, in certain places.
Yeah. Especially because I like to go to the like hike around the parks and stuff. And like, I know several of my clients' families also do that. And so I'm like, they might be here. Yeah. They might be hiking here today. Yeah. And then I'm like, do I ever want to hike at this park ever again? Yes, I love this park.
Right. And like, realistically, what are the odds that like we're here at the same time?
Right.
On the same day? Like, there's a lot of parks.
I will say, I had a therapist in college and undergrad that I was seeing, and I didn't want anyone to know that I was in therapy, and she saw me at a bar and came up and said hello to me, and I was mortified. She was very, very sweet, older lady. And she did not like reference anything that would make anyone. Like, she just said, "Hi, how are you? It's nice to see you out with your friends." It's kind of the thing that she said, which is also, well, I guess, yeah. So she was kind of like implying like, "Hey, you're out with your friends.
You did the thing.
We talked about in session last week of how you need to hang out with your friends more." But then when she left, I think none of my friends really cared. And I think one person asked, and I just said that she was like a family friend or something.
Right. Because what are you supposed to say?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell them that she was my therapist.
Right. That's why the general rule for therapists is if you see a client, you don't acknowledge them.
Yeah.
And if they come up to you, then that's different.
Yeah, I definitely have that conversation with my teen clients. Which I'm always scared I'm going to see them out and about. Specifically are the teenagers. But I have that conversation of like, if you see me in public at like Kroger or something, you can ignore me. I'm going to ignore you. Like, we don't have to like talk to each other at all outside of sessions.
Right.
Like,
and
you can walk right past me.
If we saw each other, even if we didn't interact at all, I'm not going to bring it up. Like in a session. No. I'm not going to say like, "Oh yeah, remember when I saw you at the place?"
Right.
Nope.
Not going to do that.
Didn't happen.
No.
Unless you bring it up, but.
Yeah, unless you want to talk about it, and then we will. I've bumped into parents of my clients a few times. But they're mostly just like, "Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Bye." And, pretty quick. And I don't really say anything. I'm just like, "Hi.
Yeah.
I'm at Kroger to get my sushi. Bye." But yeah, I guess I'm more afraid of seeing like my teen clients at a concert that I'm at or something like that than anything else. Bumping into parents of clients hasn't been a huge issue for me, but they're usually pretty chill about it. Yeah. But yeah, if I see any of my teenagers at a concert, leave.
I know, like what? Like I paid for this ticket and now I have to go? Like
it's like, I know we like the same kind of music because we talk about it in session, but like, I really didn't think you were going to be here, and I don't want you to see me in my concert personality, and not my therapist personality. Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah, really awkward. This one's. I'm laughing because I'm bad about this. Can a therapist be too friendly, happy, smiley? I have the feeling that I've given my therapist the wrong impression. I feel that they feel that I'm not really suffering as much as I really am in everyday life, and I've been wondering why that could be, as I do not make an effort to hide my emotions. I realize that my therapist is super friendly, polite, and smiling all the time, and I, wanting to be polite on instinct, mirror this behavior, smile and laugh at their jokes, etc. I feel that this may have left the wrong impression, that they may have missed how I really feel and how serious my problem is. What can I do? Not smile back? That seems rude. So in this scenario, I am more like this poster than the therapist. So if I think
it's normal to mirror somebody's face.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I've always done it as a form of masking. So that, some people don't know what's actually going on under the surface. So if everyone's like all bubbly and excited and happy, then I am too, even if I don't feel like it. Because if I don't do it, then people start to ask questions, and then I'm gonna cry in public. So I completely understand what they're talking about, but I just think it's just kind of funny that they're like, can a therapist be too friendly, happy, smiley, laughing? And I'm pretty silly with a lot of my kiddo clients, because that's how you build rapport really easily with kids. But in this case, I think they're asking a question and for help, but I think they know the answer, and they kind of already talked about it, of like, my therapist is acting like nothing's wrong, because according to them and the things I've told them, nothing's wrong. Yeah. Like, if you don't tell your therapist, like, hey, I'm actually having a really hard time with this, they're not going to know that.
Or maybe they feel like they have been communicating and their therapist isn't picking up on it because they're not responding with like a, oh. Like they're continuing to maintain an upbeat demeanor.
Right. Yeah.
So they're thinking like, did she hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before. Like, you are allowed to say to your therapist, like, this isn't working. Like, can we switch it up?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Let them know because you are going in for a service. So,
right.
Get out of it what you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think most therapists kind of like gauge the temperature of where the client's at when they come in and are able to like use that to better inform like how silly or serious are we going to be today.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if catch-22 is the right word or what, but like you are mirroring your therapist being happy. Then your therapist is mirroring back to you
what you're doing.
The happiness. You're mirroring each other,
and
both of you are like, should we be smiling?
Yeah. It's a chicken and egg problem.
Yeah.
Like, who started the mirroring first?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. So someone commented saying, any therapist worth their salt would probably pick on that right away. I had a client once who during intake told me he was a people pleaser, and I took note of that. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, in sessions, he would immediately agree with difficult statements I made or give me answers that he seemed to think I wanted to hear. When it was appropriate, I would point it out to him and remind him he isn't going to fail therapy by disagreeing with me, which was kind of a joke because we had great rapport. To your question, no two people experience difficulties the same. And again, any therapist worth their salt inherently knows that. If you're bringing up things you'd like to work through in sessions and getting the support you want, then I think you're fine. If you aren't getting what you'd like out of the session, tell your therapist and say, hey, I'd really like to move along to the matter of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not your parent. I'm not your teacher, your professor, or your friend. You have nothing to prove to me.
Right. It's my job to give you what you need.
Yeah. So if you're like, can we be more serious? Then let's be more serious. My bad.
Yeah.
But if you don't tell me, I won't know. Mm-hmm. I'll try and pick up my best on your cues, but I also won't know. How to give a timeline of my life events to my therapist. My therapist asked me to provide a timeline of events that I would describe as traumatic or that affected me. I have things that have happened to me from age 2 up till now, and I'm 23. Is this excessive? Am I being dramatic? I'm worried my therapist thinks that I'm being too deep, as there are over 5 events that I can recall. First of all, that's fine. That's
as many as you need, girl.
Anything that you remember and had an impact on you is important.
Yeah.
It's made you who you are.
Yeah.
And that's all your therapist is getting at with this timeline thing. Mm-hmm. Because I do timelines with some of my clients, and I'm like, sometimes it'll be specific of where in this timeline did you feel feelings of loss if we're working through grief. But if it's like a big general one, I'm expecting there to be a lot of stuff.
Right. Tell me about the time when you lost a tooth in first grade and you didn't know where to put it. If that's something that like sticks out to you and like is a core memory, then let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't spend a whole session on it, but like you can bring it up.
Right. And then it helps your therapist just keep in mind kind of like your past and your history and like what's going on there and if there's any patterns maybe. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm worried my therapist thinks I'm too deep because there's over 5 events that I can recall. I was like, girl, I got like 40.
I know. I was going to say, like 5 is a lot. 5 is trauma. 1 is trauma.
Yep.
So whatever you need. And to start at 2, like that's big.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty significant thing if you remember something from when you were 2. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a big deal. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and then someone showed that they made a timeline for their therapist, and it took them over 18 months to start through the timeline start to end.
Yeah.
If things are important, then they're important, and you need to talk about it. And then talking about how not all the things on that timeline are going to be big T trauma.
Right.
But if it had an impact on you, it's important to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember when I was in, third or fourth grade, in the spelling bee, and I like blacked out and said the last two letters of the word again. And then I heard that ding, and I was like, oh no, my life is over. That's not trauma, but it's part of my life.
But it had an impact.
It had an impact on me.
Yeah. If you're making a timeline with your therapist to talk about anything that had an impact on you, doesn't matter how many or how little. It just matters that you include the things that made an effect on
matter to you. Yeah. Yeah, and that's such a good tool too for yourself and for your therapist.
Yeah. 'Cause I've had some clients who I like their therapy homework. I told them to go home and make a timeline, and then if they wanted to bring it into session, or if it just popped up things they wanted to talk about, then we would talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good. I like to do it when I feel like a client's kind of hit a wall, and I know the answer to get over the wall, and the answer usually is something from the past that they haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
So that's a good tool to kind of jog their memory almost of oh yeah, this happened and I never really talked about it or did anything about it, and oh, maybe that's why it's holding me back from having a true romantic relationship with my partner.
Yeah, or like you said, make a timeline of every time you felt a loss. And even if you didn't think that they were traumatic at the time, that time when you left your teddy bear at the park is still affecting how you deal with things.
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting to do a timeline on loss, because usually a lot of people leave stuff out. And then when I go over it with them, I kind of am like, okay, well, let's look at this again and tell me more about moments where you felt lost that did not involve a death, but involved something or someone leaving.
Yeah.
Or something or someone is absent. And then usually they add more.
Yeah.
Several more things. And then it's kind of so you're grieving a loss of a loved one who's passed, but you can also grieve the loss of a best friend who moved out of state. It's still grief. It's still loss.
Yeah.
But people don't really give themselves enough credit or time to grieve a loss where it's someone has just moved away rather than passed away or died. Right.
Yeah. They don't give themselves the same amount of grace.
Yeah. And they're like, why am I still having a hard time getting over my best friend, my childhood best friend, and that I don't talk to him? It's well, you never let yourself grieve through that and work through that. So, and now when you're having a loss of someone who has died, it's hitting you even more, because now you're adding more layers of things you haven't dealt with. So very interesting stuff.
Yes. I was watching YouTube this morning, and I saw a video about beauty standards and what we as a society determine is attractive. So the YouTuber's name is Tara Mooney.
That sounds familiar.
She's British.
Okay.
And she makes a lot of video essays about all sorts of things.
Okay.
Mostly about feminism and beauty standards and things like that.
Okay. Probably seen some of her stuff then.
Yeah, she's funny. And her voice is very relaxing. So her video is called The Hot Delusion: The Rise and Fall of Hotness. And she references this article called Too Much Exposure to Hot People is Warping Our Dating Standards. And basically the argument was we are exposed via the internet and media to the most attractive people all the time. And so it warps our view of like how attractive people are supposed to be. Like we've raised our beauty standards to this higher point of
Okay.
of attractiveness, and then we like judge regular people more harshly
Okay.
because of that.
Okay.
And I think like filters affect that too. Like we assume that people look a certain way when really like they all look the same because they're all using the clean beauty filter or whatever.
Yeah. Those filters are wild because I was I was flipping through them one time just to like see what changes they make.
Mm-hmm.
They always make my eyes bigger. My eyes are already massive, but they make them bigger, and I look like a friggin' Disney princess, eyeballs this big. They always make my nose smaller, which I don't know. It's just a nose, and they always make my lips bigger.
Right.
And I'm like, why are these the things? Like, I just wanted you to get rid of the red on my face.
Yeah, and then they always make your face like heart-shaped and like...
Yeah, they always give me like wide ass right here, like a jaw like a man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is that what I'm getting?
I don't understand them.
I have a round head and a round face. I thought that's what people liked.
But it's like you don't even look like yourself. Like you're
it's
weird. This is not my face. Like this is somebody else's face. And they're like high-tech filters now too. Like you can't tell that they're filtered.
You can't tell at all.
So if you don't know what that person looks like, then you just think that's what they look like.
Yeah.
Okay. So this article is by Juno Kelly from Dazed, which I have never heard of before.
Okay. That's a new one.
So she says conventionally attractive influencers monopolize social media via algorithmic bias towards young symmetrical faces. We're served constant behind the scenes of content of beautiful celebrities, and porn and AI favor the de facto toned young hot person. Mm-hmm. And so then she references some studies. Then she talks about how people have started like looking at A-list celebrities like Margot Robbie and Sydney Sweeney and being like, they're like a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Margot Robbie's literally Barbie.
Right? Literally Barbie.
Literally Barbie.
And then, but they're arguing that back in like before the internet was everywhere.
Yeah.
You would see like 100 hot people.
Yeah, like from magazines.
In your lifetime.
Commercials.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So like when you see an attractive person in real life, you're like, yes, that is an attractive person. And now you're spending 15 hours a day on your phone looking at filtered people.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is what we're supposed to look like. So when I see a regular person or even an attractive person like Margot Robbie, I'm like, she's all right, I guess.
This is so wild to me. This is wild to me. I think I view we can get into this another day or today, but I view attraction very differently, I think, than most not straight people than straight people. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And so I think that like some of this stuff, like the filters and things like that, I don't get it. That's not what I'm attracted to. But to take into consideration, most of the rest of the world is.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So it has already been like established through science that media affects what we feel like are the standard of beauty.
Yeah.
And we all should aspire to be what we see most often.
Right.
But when it's impossible to meet those standards because people don't look like that,
yeah,
then one, our self-esteem gets worse, and we don't accept people for who they are because we expect them to look like all these fake people.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah. So, there was a study that said our visual diet, the faces we see most on or offline, shapes our perception of what's beautiful. So it's no wonder that a dissonance is occurring when we step out of the lacquered digital realm into the real world of idiosyncrasies and textured skin, where we're illuminated by fluorescent overhead lighting instead of ring lights, and you see every angle of someone's face instead of just their best side.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think you can, this psychologist, Michelle Drouin, she said, I think you can put it down to basic habituation. We have now become habituated to the images that we've seen online and what we think is our reality. Physical attraction is what makes someone walk across the room for someone else. And if you don't have that initial prime attraction because you're so habituated to all the beautiful, perfect images that you see online, then what's the trigger that makes you walk across the room? So the argument is that because we are so influenced by these unreal images of beauty and we've raised our beauty standards, that now dating is harder because we expect more from people they don't meet the beauty standards, because how can they?
Yeah, because it's literally fake.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'm not dating anymore.
Yeah. And then because there's more hot people online, like, it's not just like a few celebrities that we're exposed to now. It's a lot of different influencers and stuff. Then it tricks our brains into thinking like, oh, well, then there's more people available that look like this.
Oh.
So I should be seeking out those people and rejecting everybody who doesn't look like that. And when you're on a dating app and it's based 99% on how attracted you are to that person.
Yeah.
If you're only attracted to filtered faces,
that's what you're going to look for.
Then that's what you're going to look for.
Wow.
Yeah. This writer with the New York Times, Magdalene Taylor, she says, we never should have been exposed to what the apps originally provided. The sense that the dating pool is some unlimited, ever-increasing in quality well of people. Hinge itself, Hinge is a dating app, acts as a microcosm of the wider problem. When you retreat from the standouts, heavily liked people you need a premium subscription to match, back to the main algorithms, your options don't seem quite as desirable.
This is just so, this feels so alien to me. I think, I don't know. We didn't have internet when I was a kid for a long time. And then when there was internet available, it was only at school for a long time. We didn't have internet where I grew up until I think I was in high school maybe. And it was like dial up. And then when in high school, when I was starting to date, it was just people that I went to high school with. And then when I went to college, it was just people I went to college with, and yada, yada.
Yeah.
From there, that's just kind of what it was like for me. But geez, I know online dating is kind of garbage right now in general from people that I've heard that are doing online dating. But to take that into consideration is just kind of that's a whole other level of garbage.
Yeah.
Absolute garbage.
Yeah. Well, and then there's this awful TikTok that I'm going to show you. Okay. So the interviewer is asking, is she a 10 or is she mid? Which is
gross.
The Gen Z slang of she's mediocre looking.
Well, people used to do that when I was in high school.
Yeah.
They ranked people.
Is she 10 or is she mid?
Definitely mid.
Can you explain why?
Because listen, she looks like how women are supposed to look, right? Ideally,
So wouldn't that make her a 10?
Right, but mid, when we're comparing her to others, right, to the ideal woman, I would say she kind of fits into that. I would say a 10 goes above and beyond. I see women who look like her all over the place. Where I'm from in Chicago, they're everywhere. So.
Okay, so is it good that Hollywood is actually promoting a woman that looks like a real woman?
Yeah, it is. Although I think ideally Hollywood should promote beauty standards that go above and beyond normality. I think that we should not settle for mediocrity in general in life, and that we should promote excellence. And now we can see this with women, but we can also see this manifest itself in politics and life. The beauty standard should always go above and beyond.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
So the last paragraph of this article is about how do we fix it.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
It says, how do we reset our beauty detectors to get back to appreciating potential partners and their personalities, which is, after all, just as important? While unplugging from the hot matrix entirely may be impossible, thinking critically and limiting your time in it could help loosen its grip. We should try to be more mindful in terms of our social media usage, in terms of trying to think about how these technologies that we're interacting with might be affecting us. If we are not really aware or understanding it, then I think that's where it's going to have the greatest effect on people, advises Justin LeMiller, a social psychologist and research fellow at the Kinsey Institute in Indiana University. When it comes to a lot of technology, social media, porn use, and so forth, using it in smaller doses is usually better. He continues, it does go away, however, if you take porn away from men.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I like how that's the advice, because that just sounds so common sense to me. Of like, if social media and fake people, fake influencers are what's causing the problem, then stop watching them.
it's
But
society,
it's
though.
so-
You
yeah.
have to feel like you are in the loop.
Right.
And it would also be great if, like, the filters didn't exist, but people use them, so they're going to keep coming up.
Yep. And they're going to keep getting more and more. It's going to get harder and harder to tell if someone's got a filter on their video or picture. Yeah. Especially with AI. Ooh. Yeah. I'm really glad I'm not dating anymore. I don't know. It's hard to get people to just stop looking at social media and to stop like following influencers, because that's their whole game.
It is, and like I don't know how they pump the dopamine in like that, but it's really hard to not be on your phone.
Yeah. It's an addiction for people, for some people. It really is. Dang. Go touch grass.
Touch grass and look at
Look
real
at real
life
people. Go look at real people.
Watch some
I'm
movies from the 80s.
For real though. Well, I mean, they're like, I'm thinking of some 80s movies that I like, and they are not realistic.
Yeah, I mean, I
But-
guess we were like, because they used to like, back when movies were black and white in like the 40s, they used to like rub Vaseline on the camera so that everybody's face would look
Would
smoother.
glow. And then they would like paint it's wild. They would paint really ridiculous colors on their faces for
Yeah.
black and white film to get different, like, change their whole face shape, basically.
Yeah, I mean, makeup's amazing,
Yes.
but it's not the same as a filter, I think.
Yeah. It's not the same when it's paired with a technology that people are addicted to
Yeah.
and cannot stop
Yeah,
watching or being on.
right.
And that it's so normalized to be addicted to as well. Don't like that.
Yeah. It's bizarre. So, there's your dystopia for today.
Yeah. Jeez. It's very Hunger Games-ish.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Like
It
the
is. It just sucks that, like, it's already so hard to, like, meet people and then to be put under extreme beauty standards that you physically cannot meet.
right.
And it's like, first of all, we are holding each other to these high standards that we don't even meet ourselves because we can't. So then you're flipping through Hinge and you're being like, well, he's not toned enough and she's not skinny enough and her skin has texture to it. God forbid she has pores. And then it's like, okay, well, like, you're also just an average looking person. Like,
Yeah.
like, are we shitting on ourselves as we're shitting on other people for being normal looking?
I think so. I think if people are going to judge others so harshly like that, then they're also internalizing that to themselves. Like,
You have to.
You have to.
Because you can't look in the
can't be
mirror and
that
be like,
much of a
well, I
hypocrite.
meet all the beauty standards,
Yeah.
so everybody needs to get on my level.
Some people might say that, but I don't know if they actually believe it.
Right.
If they're going to be that harsh.
Because, like, even the influencers, if they really thought that they were the hottest thing ever, they wouldn't use the filters.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. Oof.
Yep.
It's gross. It's gross.
Yeah. Well, my recommendation for the week is this YouTube channel, Tara Mooney, Tara, and then her last name. I'm saying it's cute, but like it's just her name. Like that's just how it's spelled. But it's spelled moo like cow, and then knee like your knee, Mooknee.
Okay.
And I just think that's so fun.
That's funny. I was imagining Mooney, Mooney.
Yeah,
because
that's
seen
what
that
I
name
typed
before.
in when I searched it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not.
Mooney.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's a lot of feminist stuff. I
Yeah.
like it.
I'm gonna recommend this app called Goblin Tools.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I broke down and paid for it. It's just a one-time payment
It's like
for like
$2,
$2.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna recommend it though because so it breaks down your to-do list and you rate it for how many chili pepper spicy difficult that task is for you. And so if you rate it as like a 5 out of 5 spicy level, it breaks it down into real basic steps. And then if you rate it as a 2, it gives you more general things. So really, really good for executive functioning. If you're having trouble completing daily tasks or weekly tasks that need to be done. But it also has this really cool feature that I've been using a lot of, it's like an AI thing where you put in how you want to respond to a text and then you ask it to make it more professional, more, I think like sassy is one of the choices, sarcastic, like stuff like that. I've been using that in reverse for like work emails.
Yeah. Like, how do I tell this person, fix it yourself?
Yeah, for real though.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I tell this person via email to stop emailing me about this and to only talk to me about this in a way that is professional and not, because apparently I have a tone. And I don't see it, but apparently I do in an email, which I think is stupid. Email literally has no tone.
Right.
It is words.
Don't assume tone from an email
If
or
you're-
a text message.
If you're assuming tone from something you're reading, it's the tone in your head.
Yeah.
It's your tone.
Yeah.
Calm the fuck down. But yeah, I've been using that a lot for work emails and like personal emails and stuff like that too, for like wedding planning stuff of like, how do I tell them I hate this, but I like this?
Yeah.
In a way that is more professional.
Yeah. I think that's
It's
awesome.
It's very, very good. And there's also there's an option thing on there where you can info dump or mind dump a bunch of thoughts, and then it breaks it down into kind of like bullet listed and
Okay.
like organizes your thoughts
So
for you.
it's not like just random ramblings.
Yeah. So sometimes if I'm like I had an idea for a D&D campaign that I thought would be super fun, and I could not stop thinking about it, and I was like, I'm going to type it out on my new app and see what it does, and it like broke down for me how to do it.
I love that.
Yeah, and I was like, hell yeah, because that would have taken me 6 months just to make a to-do list about how to do this.
Yeah.
And the app did it for me like
And
right
now
there.
it's like manageable and you can actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to do it now.
Right.
So but that's on me. The app can't make me do anything, but
Eh,
it helps.
unfortunately, not yet.
Yeah, it can't like inject me with normal brain juice and make me do things.
Not yet. Someday.
One day, maybe.
Someday the robots will do that for us.
Oh my god, that's scary.
That reminds me of this TikTok I saw of this woman said how to respond to your boss when they are, I can't remember what the exact wording was, but she said how to respond to your boss's email when they're asking for a follow-up. And then she goes into like this role play of her boss coming up to her and being like, hi, I noticed you didn't respond to my email. Is there a reason why? And she goes, yeah, because you're fucking annoying.
That's my inside thoughts. Those are my inside thoughts. Yeah. But like, how do I say that professionally?
Yeah. How do I say fuck off?
Yeah. I tested the
But like nicely.
I tested the little Goblin app thing the first time. Goblin app.
Yeah.
Goblin Tools
Goblin
app.
Tools.
There we go. And I think I put in how do I tell my neighbor that I want to throw rocks through their window? And then its response was don't. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good. It's not like the Google AI things that were like telling people like put glue on their pizza to keep the
Yes. I saw that. That's ridiculous. No, the app was like, don't do that. Don't throw rocks through your neighbor's window.
They were like, we're sending you someone to your house to help you.
what's wrong? Yeah, it just told me don't. I was like, okay, fair. Good job. You have limits. Thank you.
Okay. Good. All right, cool. So Goblin Tools and Tara Mooney. Please comment what you would do if you saw your therapist in public.
Oh, yes, I want to know what people would do.
And where's the worst place that you could see your therapist?
Ooh.
Yeah. And then, of course, subscribe to us everywhere and follow us on TikTok and Instagram and share it with your friends and tell your friends that we are the best therapists on the internet.
Yes, review the podcast too, because that bumps us up as well into people's channels.
Yeah,
FYPs.
wherever you are consuming this, whether it's YouTube, please comment and like. The sooner you do that, the more people will see it. And then we can build a community, and that's what we really want.
We don't get paid to do this, and we don't pay anyone to help us. So you get what you get. I'm sorry.
But you know what? If you subscribe on YouTube, maybe we'll be able to do that someday.
Maybe one day, if you all rate, review, subscribe, and share enough, then we can hire someone to help us.
Yeah, and then we'll be releasing episodes on time.
Yeah, it'll be the same day every week instead of when we can get to it. And TikToks will actually happen weekly instead of all in one day. I'm sorry that I did that last time. I didn't realize that I scheduled them to all release the same day. But
Yeah, they're out there.
they're there now.
Yep.
But yeah, we can only do that with your help. I feel like it's like the PBS.
Yes. When viewers like you.
Thank you. Maybe we should start saying that at the end.
Yeah. This is brought to you by viewers like you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so come back next time. Is it next week? Who knows? And we will talk about more garbage.
On fire.
Yeah, dumpster fires.